This is Tyson Charter with the Longo Cartel, and you're listening to the Uncaged podcast.
Hey, yo, what's up, what's up? This is Dewey, Black Cobra Cooper, and you're listening to the Uncaged podcast. Holla at your boy.
I'm Anthony Noah, and you're listening to the Uncaged podcast.
This is Ray Thompson. Thanks for tuning in, and you have been listening to the Uncaged podcast.
What is happening, people? This is Paddy the Baddy, and you are listening to Uncaged Media.
Everybody, and welcome in, or should I say welcome back to MMA Uncaged. I am one of the co-hosts, Jendo, joined by the voice of the channel and the face of the place, Ben the Bane Davis. How are you doing, man? I'm so happy to have you back in here.
I'm so pumped to be here. I mean, we're talking about some great fights. We're breaking it down with the betting. We've got some good guests today. I think the best that we might have ever had. Ray Longo, certainly one of my favorite coaches in the game currently. And I'm excited to get through it with you.
Not to mention Hyon Ko, the AllStar, also known from South China Morning Post, among other things, Kumite TV. We've got Yorgan Decastro, the Mad Titan, later on. I mean, this is a pretty fun show, man. And realistically, this is a big week for MMA as a whole. UFC 271 coming up. We've lost one of our bouts from ONE FC. I keep calling it ONE FC, just one championship now. Lost the Lineker bout, but that's okay. That's okay. We've got some fun stuff this week, man. What are you looking forward to most from this weekend's fights? And hey, not to mention the Super Bowl's on Sunday.
Super Bowls, hey, Joey franchise, baby. I'm thinking that the Bengals are going to go all the way. That's my official prediction for who takes.
I got the Rams.
Big soup. Ah, well, fuck you. No, man. I mean, it's such a great weekend for sports. I'm gonna just hop on the main bandwagon and see if Bobby Knuckles can get the title back around his waist. I mean, he truly is such a great champion, such a fantastic competitor. And in my mind, he's put on a better streak in his last three than Izzy has. Granted, Izzy beats all the guys that Rob's beaten recently, but I mean, look, Whitaker's looking great. I think he's going to come in this with a different game plan, some adjustments made, and I really would love to see the belt go back to the Aussie. As much as I love Adesanya, I'm a big Robert Whitaker fan. And another couple guys in the cards. I mean, you got Blood Diamond, you got a couple CKB guys, you've got Carlos Ulberg, so that's really interesting. But one thing that piques the interest outside of the main event is the co-main event. You got Derek the Black Beast Lewis taking on Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa, number 3 in the former 2-time title challenger, versus number 11 in Tuivasa. That is a massive leap for Bam Bam to make if he is successful. And I think he's got a really good chance. And so, I mean, the top 2 fights on this card, Jendo, are just, they're shivering my timbers, if I have to say so.
Derek Brunson versus Cannonier may be leading to a title shot against the winner of the main event. Loaded prelims. We got Bobby King Green and Nasrat Haqparast. Should be a fun fight as well. But man, I do love to see that Robert Whitaker in his last few fights since Adesanya has kind of paved a pathway to victory in the way that he's been taking these fights. We've seen him work his ground control. He could be 3 takedowns away from hearing and new and again Robert the Reaper Whitaker. But we've got the man himself in the lobby. We've got Ray Longo joining us. We've got Hyon Ko and Yorgan Decastro later. This should be a good one. All righty, we welcome in one of the best coaches in MMA history, the man behind the plans which dethroned not only George St. Pierre, but Anderson Silva as well. Ray Longo, thank you so much for joining us, my man.
No, anytime, guys, anytime.
So first things first, I mean, how you doing? How's life been? What's new for you?
Nah, believe it or not, I thought I'd be retired already. I'm just more busy than I've ever been. Even because I promote fights also. I do the Ring of Combat with Lou Neglia. We just had a big show Saturday night. More of an amateur show, but everybody won. Was a great time. And between that and getting people ready for the fights, I'm going to say 6 people fighting next week. 4 at the Ring of Combat, 2 in Bellator. So, yeah, busy. Just crazy.
The schedule's packed for the Longo team.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the president, of course, very packed. But back in the day, you were working full-time as an accountant and coaching by night, interestingly enough. How did that first start? When did you get into coaching combat sports athletes?
Yeah, I wasn't Well, let me just think about that. I don't think I was teaching while I was doing accounting. I don't think I started with the fighters yet. I'm going to say that when I get done with accounting, which was probably around 1988, maybe, 87, 88. Then I got into, I started training some kickboxers, and from that led to, meeting Matt Serra at jiu-jitsu and becoming, I was kind of like the only guy doing stand-up around, I guess. So by default, I was the guy, but I was already promoting fights, and I had a world kickboxing champ, couple of Golden Gloves guys, that type of stuff. So, yeah, I wasn't doing that while I was doing the accounting, but after I got done, then I started more full-time.
And
Sure.
you've been closely connected with Matt Serra since he was only 17 years old. Did that friendship make the entire MMA journey for you just a bit more special?
100%, 100%. It's funny. I was just talking to a guy at the gym. We were talking about business, and you could never, go into business with your family because it never ends up good, or friends. And, years ago, we made a decision, like we have the team together, but we kept the businesses apart because we valued the friendship more than, whatever the business could bring, and then possibly end the friendship. And probably one of the best decisions I ever made, because the guy is just a great guy. And I mean, we just, even to this day, it's been like 30 years of laughs at this point. It's really, yeah, that did make it special. And, obviously St. Pierre at the time was such a big upset that, yeah, I'm just starting to look back now and, realize what was going on, because, you just keep moving to the next thing. So that's why it was great when I inducted him into the Hall of Fame. We got to reflect a little bit. And we still do that, even today. It's like, the other day he called me and he said, it was 20 years ago today, I tore my bicep before the fight with, and I can't think of the guy's name, but he tore his bicep right before a fight, like 3 weeks before, and he still fought. Never had it repaired. And he's got that dent in his arm now, but he was a fighter, man. That was it. But nothing but love for that guy, man. Really just a great friend to this day. And that's not easy to do, man. Have friends for 30 years, 40 years,
No easy task.
Definitely. I mean, he's got one of the most comical personalities in the sport. Very blunt, very transparent. I mean, talk about like more memories with him. Has he always been like that, or was that something that developed over the years, or day one you met him and it was just, that's Matt Serra?
Wait, which part though? The bluntness or the funniness?
Doesn't it all fall in one?
No,
all the above. All the above.
No, let me tell you, he was a pit bull, man. At 19, he was still looking to fight everybody on the street. He was still, I say even to this day, sometimes like when I go to do the podcast with him, I'm like, man, we're going to get killed one day. There's just no question about it. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time till something crazy happens. But he is really just, he's funny, man. He is funny, and he ain't taking shit from nobody, that guy.
You got any stories?
Nah, not really, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, nothing I could.
Not for public attention. Not something you could say on the air.
But I'll tell you, to get a taste of it was almost like when that guy, that weirdo trainer Fabio, whatever his name was.
Fabio,
yeah. Like I'm saying, if I was at the table with him, I probably would have instigated a riot. You know what I mean? But he's like, nothing's going by him. Like he's pretty funny, man. So he's slowed down, but he's still, it'll never go away, I don't think, at this point.
So to switch gears a little bit, man, Chris Weidman has announced he's looking to get back in there in 2022. Any ideas for an opponent? Is Uriah Hall potentially in the mix, or at least as far as you guys are thinking? What's going on with that?
I'm going to say, look, I really haven't talked to him in a while. I mean, we text every so often, but I really don't know. That I don't know. Like I don't know. When did he say? Yeah, 22. Yeah, we're starting to. It's going to be a year in April, if you could believe that.
Time flies.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to get together with him. I mean, it looks like he's doing good. Sometimes he comes out to the shows and we get to hang out, but he's pretty busy in Carolina with his family. So we'll see what happens, but he definitely wants to fight again for sure. And we really haven't talked opponents or even timeline at this point.
Now, staying within the vein of, obviously the athletes under your wing, Aljamain Sterling's unification bout with Petr Yan is set to take place on April 9th. And it feels like a lot of people, Ray, are counting Aljo out. What do you have to say for those that peg Sterling as a big underdog coming into this one?
Look, we're looking for another upset. Look, Yan is no easy puzzle to solve, right? I thought Sandhagen was going to win that fight based on his length and his movement, and he was able to shut that guy down. So he's got a really hard task in front of him. But I know he could do it because I like what I saw in the first 2 rounds. But he did have an adrenaline dump. It was his first 5 rounder. I think he's going to make the adjustment, and very technical. Anybody that's trained with him will tell you he's really good. Whatever they think from the Yan fight, good for them. But Yan is no joke, but we will get the job done for sure.
Without going too much into the game plan, of course, we can't reveal too many details, but I would love to get specific about maybe that cardio issue that came up in the first fight. As a coach, how do you address that and adjust it moving forward and fix that problem?
Well, there are ways to fix it, but he's saying that he had and again, I talked to him about it. I said, you got to be honest with me, but he's saying that his meal prep or something went wrong and he just gassed out. He's never felt like that, but he knows it was from eating wrong. But, it's kind of, like I said, but I'll just, it's like your 20th fight. You've got to have that shit down by now. But you never know. So he's saying that wasn't him in there. And I agree with him. But, all you could do is push the cardio. He's got great training partners. And he's still in Vegas, but he's going to, finish up his camp here. He's coming back soon. But, you got Marab to push, and we got great guys in the gym that, can emulate Petr Yan. But, he's got to be really prepared for a 5-round war, period. That's it. You can't go in thinking anything less with a guy like that. We know what Yan does. He's great at stalking you, and he hits hard. He wants to fight. His takedown defense really held up good. And we'll see if we can make some tweaks to what happened.
I first spoke to you just prior to the first outing, and I asked this question, but I've got to ask it again. So being a part of the coaching staffs that led to both GSP and Anderson Silva being dethroned, is there any similarity in the atmosphere of the lead up to Yan Aljo 2 as there was heading into either GSP Serra or Silva Weidman? Is there any similarities at all?
I'm going to say this only because he wanted to establish his residence in Vegas and, be no state tax. These guys start making big money. They save a lot of money with that. So I'm going to say it's a little different because with Weidman and Matt, we were so hardwired in together. Everybody was together every day, even with Matt. We just was every day, Weidman every day. So Aljo, until he gets here and we get that thing going, it's hard to really say. So there are differences just based on, geography now. We gotta get him back. If he never left, I would say it would probably be the same. But, I feel a little disconnected sometimes. But he is going to come back in a couple of weeks, and then we'll finish off hopefully 6 or 7 weeks here.
I spoke to Eric Nixick about a week ago, and I know he had been getting some work in with Aljo, and he says Aljo seems dialed in. Going to be fun to see how he can mix together stuff coming from your camp, coming from out there in Vegas, a lot of high-level gyms out there as well. But I wanted to ask you personally, how tough was it to game plan against GSP and Silva? You mentioned being so hardwired into it. And I mean, Al obviously fought Khabib as well, but there was no time for a camp before that. So specifically those 2 fights, how tough was it for you?
I didn't think it was tough. Look, with GSP, you got to remember, GSP was training with Renzo in the city, right, at the time. And then they kind of threw him out because he was fighting Matt. And but Matt at that time, his jiu-jitsu, he was a legend at Renzo. So I'm sure we knew GSP thought Matt wanted that fight to the floor. And Matt had just really started to develop knockout power that I don't think people were aware. He wasn't really on the radar for doing that yet. So I knew, and it sounds weird, but it's funny. Did you see the special they did on Matt, Year of the Fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at some of the things I said, they thought I was like mentally disturbed. You know what I mean? So I knew it. So I knew we were going to get a chance at him, right? I knew that. If the fight did stay up long enough, if Matt connected, I knew it was going to be a problem. And I thought GSP, we were working the angle that he thought that fight was going to the floor. I brought in so many good sparring partners to emulate GSP. There were no surprises to Matt. And, he was just starting to stay in the pocket and fight at that point. So that one, I thought we had a blast with that one, and then with Weidman, he was such a fucking stud with his wrestling and, that was another fun one. No, it's just fun game plan. And we knew what Anderson Silva was about. Everything that people say he was clowning, but he clowned in every fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he finally paid for it with a guy that didn't give a shit.
It was part of who he was.
Right. It was part of who he was. There was nothing different. But people, the haters wanted to say, well, he got caught because he was playing around. Definitely not. He played around with Forrest Griffin. He played around with Bond. He played around with everybody. But Weidman wasn't having it. And, we respected his stand-up. And, but I knew Chris is another guy, man. When at that given point in time in Chris's career, I don't think anybody was beating him.
Now, turning the attention back to 135 pounds, obviously, April 9th is where the focus lies, but kind of expanding the view. You've got Jose Aljo, who's streaking in the top 5, who just put on, a great performance against Rob Font recently. Yes. TJ Dillashaw's waiting in the wings. What other names kind of intrigue you as a coach? What other guys are kind of on your radar in that division?
No, that top 5 is fucking brutal, man. TJ Dillashaw, Sandhagen, Aldo. That's why I said I'd love to see a matchup between Merab and like a Rob Font, for his next fight. I think would be great.
My next question was about the Jorgen Merab Dvalishvili.
Yeah, that's
really would love to get an update on him.
Yeah, if you ever listen, guys, when they match people up now, they don't even mention the guy's name. He's ranked number 5. Yeah. They don't even bring him up. It's always like Sandhagen against Dillashaw against Aldo. Nobody brings this guy up, and he's right there. He's 4 or 5, I think, right? I don't know.
I think he's 5. Why do you think he's not getting the respect that he deserves? He's had such a fantastic run in the UFC, putting on exciting performances. Why isn't he being mentioned in this conversation?
Because I think they know he's a nightmare, and he's been consistent. He's not stopping. And you got to remember, when they're doing fights, they want guys that could really move the needle in either direction, or they do like the Sean O'Malley's, as crazy as they are, but they want guys. Yeah. I don't think they see Merab as that guy, maybe because he's foreign and he's just such a humble, nice guy that it's all about selling pay-per-views, right? So it's got to be, you got to have the matchups, but it is a business. They have to draw people in, and I think that's part of it, is that he might not have the appeal as some of the guys like a Jose Aldo that's been around for a long time, with Dillashaw, had the controversy with the PEDs. So people are tuning in for that. And he's just a fucking nightmare. You know what I mean? If you could get another fight with a bigger name, you know what I mean? Like, you get more mileage out of fighting Jose Aldo than you can with Merab, because he's just not going to stop, and he's on a roll. So I guess that's it. I don't know, but I think it's, when they look at like matching up fights, I think they have to really take into consideration like pay-per-view buys, who's interested, and that might have something to do with it,
Well, if the UFC isn't paying attention to the masses, the future still is bright for Jorgen's Zone. I do want to take a moment, though, and talk about John Anik and Kenny Florian's podcast, which is obviously produced by the main man, Cody Merrow. You've got the special. You got the Ray Longo Minute. I'm curious, how did that come up? Was the idea brought to you? Did you bring it to them? And how much have you enjoyed being a part of their podcast?
Yeah, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. We were at a fight, and I remember Anik came up to me, goes, "Would you be interested? I'm doing a podcast with Kenny. Would you be interested in doing? We just want to bring you on for a minute." He said, "We won't talk fights. We're going to be more like a current events thing." And I'm like, "Nah, you can talk about anything. I don't care." And that's the way he pitched it to me. And then when we started, the minute turned into 5 minutes. then 10 minutes, then, and every time I made an asshole out of myself, another 15 minutes, so it was, I try to go more for entertainment because I really do enjoy the shit out of it. I love, bullshit and that type of stuff. But, like I said, I don't really want to break down fights. I really I see people, I think they need a release. I think it's funny. If I can make people laugh, I'm way happier than that. My other shit I prove with what I'm doing with the guys, even like the guys that are coming up, we're like 19-0 now, the last 19 fights. So there's a lot of guys, hopefully you'll be hearing about this year. I think 4 or 5 guys could break into the UFC, but I just like busting balls, and it's been a great run. And now it's like a half hour, and I do have a lot of fun. I love those guys. I know Kenny forever. And, Anik's just a really class act. You could see the work he puts in when he's on the desk. And when he puts those notes out, I'm like, holy shit, how long did that take? So very, very professional. And he's a great guy. So, and I love, if I could add something or I'm helping those guys, like, again, I'm on my way out. If I could help a couple of young guys, I'm all for it. I love it. I had a great run. I'm very fortunate, grateful for everything that's, ever happened to me in this sport. And that's it. So I just want to have fun at this point.
So you gave us a perfect segue in, considering we're almost headed out of here. The only thing left to do is rapid fire with Ray Longo, and I'll shoot it right over to Bane with the first few of these questions, man.
We're going to keep it with the Anik and Florian crowd. I'm curious, what was your first impression of John Anik when you initially met him?
Just a nice, sweet guy.
How about Kenny Florian?
Florian, I knew his trainer, Mark Delagrati, at the time. Loved his fighting, loved his elbows, kind of goofy back then. He was just a nice, goofy guy back then, but great fighter. Absolutely. If you go back and look at the time he was fighting and his footwork and the way he was slicing people up with elbows, always respected him. But, him and his brother were kind of funny together. They were, a breath of fresh air.
What do you make about Anik's influence on MMA broadcasting moving forward?
I think he's a plus, because, you got a couple of guys that are a little rough around the edges, like a Bisping, who I absolutely love. I think the guy is fantastic, shoots from the hip, type of guys I absolutely love and adore. But Anik really polishes up that booth a lot. You know what I mean? Because he's got all the stats and he interviews the fighters, and you could see the passion he has when he's calling a fight or adding to a fight, and I think they need that. Sometimes when he's not there, you could see they go off the rails. They're arguing with each other. It gets a little wacky. So very professional. And I think he adds a lot just with his professionalism.
He's entered that level of commentary where if Anik's there, it elevates the event just a little more. Mm-hmm. But we'll switch gears a little bit. Who is the toughest fighter you've ever met?
The toughest fighter. I mean, you want to define tough?
Let's define tough in a sense of someone who, regardless of how much he's getting smacked around, he's always right there. He's always in your face. He's never giving it up.
Oh, that's a tough one, but I like the way you defined it. I'm going to say, based on even what you guys see, I'm going to say Merab is the toughest guy, because you saw in his last fight, if you don't kill him, you can't put him away.
Yeah.
He's just not going to stop. He is a Terminator. So I'll base toughness on what you gave me and go with Merab, just based on his performances. They're not easy to match. He leads with takedowns in that division, not by 1 or 2, by like 20. And it's only going to get better.
It's a constant grind for him.
Constant. I love those grinders, man.
You can tell all of the guys. Sorry to segue a little bit, but all of the guys that come out of you guys are grinders, and you can really see it in the way you guys develop your fighters.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, and again, I want to shit. I think Iaquinta was one of the toughest motherfuckers I ever met.
I expected that one.
Even in the gym, that guy was no joke. Yeah, I love Al. I think he was. My only regret is he never became champion.
All right. So most underrated coach in your opinion in MMA?
Most underrated coach. I think everybody's kind of underrated coach. I know this. This one, I know I would have to think about, but underrated coach. Let me see if I can come up with somebody.
Kind of tough to put you on the spot with this one.
No, I think everybody gets a lot of shine, right? You know, obviously one of my favorite coaches is Javier Mendez. Maybe I don't know. Like people would say to me years ago, you know, how does it feel to be underrated? I never really felt that, you know, and I'm sure Javier doesn't feel that either. I think his body of work speaks for itself. I don't think he gets enough credit. So I'm going to say maybe Javier because he's a great guy and
Javier is even getting work in with Mike Tyson right now. Anybody who doesn't give him the proper
really?
credit. Yeah. Well, I heard on the Rogan podcast, Mike Tyson and Javier have been getting a lot of work.
I mean, he's not with what's the guy from Shootbox who's a great guy?
Oh, I don't mean extensively. I just mean occasionally.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That's great. I love it. I know him for years, and you know, I think he stays in the background, but I guess he's, you know, I don't think he's underrated, but I think his personality kind of leads to that. But he's definitely got a body of work better than anybody's.
Definitely going to have to add a little clip of the pad hitting session I saw there in between right there. But the final question I'll leave you with is, who is the best work ethic you've seen in the gym?
Yeah, that's Merab for sure.
I was going to say, yeah.
They all, Iaquinta, Weidman, they all had great work ethics. They really did. You know what I mean? Weidman, when he was coming up, he would crush everything. So I just think Merab, the difference is, like Chris would crush it, Al would crush it, but the difference is he crushes it, and then after his fight, he's in the gym 2 days later crushing it. And that, based on that, I'm gonna say it's him because he just doesn't stop. Like he's not taking breaks. He's not going on vacation for 9 months and then coming back. So just never gaining, 50 pounds and having to lose it. He was good, but Iaquinta was a mad hatter too. They all were good. They're just every one of those guys who did something. Serra, he just went to the doctor, had a shoulder problem. He was asking, "Do you think we worked too hard back in the day?" I said, "I don't think so." But Serra, when he was on. But then, he liked his posture after the fight, so we'd have to get him back down a little bit, So these guys today are a little different. Like Merab, he gets done. You see him. He's on the treadmill Monday. It's insane.
You can't teach that. Can't teach.
100% can't teach that.
Man, it has been an honor to have you on. It looks like we've just about reached the end of this one. If I could, in closing, just ask you to say, hey, this is Ray Longo, and you're listening to MMA Uncaged, and we'll get you out of here, my friend.
Awesome. Hey, this is Ray Longo. You're listening to MMA Uncaged.
Thank you to Ray Longo. We've got to get Bane to ship that bottle over to him somehow. We'll work it out, man.
It's going all the way to New York for that Sarah Longo fight.
In the 20 minutes between when we got Longo in here and when Bane got out of class, he somehow got home, ran down to the liquor store, got that, and sprinted back up. So if the Nelk boys are watching, he wasn't lying. He really is fast.
I'm quick when it comes to alcohol, which is going to be a problem in my late 30s. But next up, I think, Jendo, we've already got another guy in the lobby. It's Yorgan, the Matt Titan Decastro, coming off of a big win at Eagle FC 44. Ladies and gents, in case you're counting, that is 2 in a row, back-to-back wins post UFC for the Matt Titan. Let's get over to Yorgan Decastro and see what he's got to say today. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the Mad Titan himself, Yorgan Decastro, putting back-to-back wins together, recently tapping out Sean Asher at Eagle FC 44. Yorgan, how you doing today?
Very good, my man. My pleasure to be with you guys. Looking forward.
Oh, man, we are so happy to have you here. And, of course, to celebrate this massive win, Khabib Nurmagomedov's U.S. debut, what was it like getting the hand raised at his promotion and in such emphatic fashion? I mean, that was a quick finish.
Excited, man. I'm very excited. New promotion. They They're very good, man. For backstage, for everything, they treat me the way they did it. I'm looking forward to fight more. I signed a multi-fight deal with them, so I know I'm gonna be doing more fights. But they're like very professional. They treat me very good, and I'm very excited for this next.
Obviously, this is the first outing with Eagle FC of many. And in terms of those kind of like behind the scenes processes and things that the fighters go through, what's the comparison with the UFC or other promotions that you've worked with? Is Eagle FC different in any way, shape, or form? Is it all pretty much the same?
All pretty much the same. From the every, like all the process the same. From the book the flight, pick up in the airport, bring it to the hotel. Basically, contract is almost the same. Everything is the same. Like they are on top. So my half of my career was local CES, and the other half was UFC. Eagle FC and the UFC, I think the backstage is like the same.
Yeah, and that was the first submission that you've scored in your combat sports career. Was that part of the plan, or did you just kind of say, "Hey, it's right there, let's take it"?
I've been telling all my interviews before this fight. I was saying that I think I failed. One of the things that I failed in UFC is become a better fighter. I fall in love with the power, and I stopped growing. I say I can't put everybody to sleep, so I'm not worried about my grappling, my jiu-jitsu. But the last 2 years, I've been grappling a lot. I've been putting a lot of wrestling and grappling. We were ready too. We knew that he would shoot with his head, like with his neck, like exposing. So I've been working on that guillotine for like a couple months. I knew if it was there, I would take it, and it came natural. I don't even look at it. The neck was there, and I grabbed it, and I knew it.
That's what the Mad Titan does, baby. When he sees the opportunity, he takes it. Now, in terms of maybe more comparisons that we can draw, talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov moving from fighter to promoter, how is he doing in that role? How do you view him in that position? And is he sort of excelling, or maybe just sort of doing the job?
I think it's too early to talk about it. I don't think he had a promotion for a year or so. Probably he's gonna face more adversities. I mean, from my side, there will be no problem. They will tell me someone, I will say yes. I don't really care. You can ask any promoter who work with me. They send me a name, I sign in 2 seconds later. So, but I'm pretty sure fight business is hard. But I know he have a lot of helps. I mean, he got a lot of good people around him. He always can talk with Dana too and ask advice. But I feel like him as a fighter, and he's a very humble guy too, fighter, hard worker. I know he understands things different. He know what fighters go through in fight camp, all the struggle. I think he can do great, actually. I think he will be a good promoter.
So will we see you stay at Eagle FC? You said it's a multi-fight deal, but is the goal still, hey, let's fight this deal out and let's go to the UFC?
Dude, my goal is to support my family. I don't care if I'm fighting the gas station right here in the corner.
Man, your smile is making my night, man. Can anything not keep you happy? I love this.
I mean, I'm telling you, at this point, I mean, if they pay me good, I'm staying with Eagle FC. I don't care. My man, I also have the best manager in the business, Ali Abdulaziz. So he know what he's doing. But he knows
a good connection to have right there, isn't it?
Right.
He know that my goal is make money and support my family. So I don't care if you throw me right here in the street and say I'm paying you $50K to fight someone, I'm fighting. So I don't care at this point. I don't care about the organization. I'm happy at Eagle FC, and if I can stay and maybe become a champion, that's the goal. I have real goals now that I didn't have in the past. I failed to target new goals. So now I'm targeting new goals. I used to win fights and party for weeks. This time I don't even party. I'm right back to the gym.
He stopped partying and now he's choking dudes out. Yorgan Decastro is a scary thing.
The improvements are there. And tired of looking back and reflecting, former opponent of yours, Greg Hardy, of course, was stunned by Tai Tuivasa at the end of last year. Now being a full-time fighter and focusing and prioritizing your development as a mixed martial artist, do you believe that a rematch with Hardy would go down differently?
Absolutely. All those fights that I lost, I didn't feel that I had out skills. I feel like they outworked me. I feel they had a better shape probably. And Greg got a fight. I broke my foot, but I should do more, man. I keep those fights that I lost by decision. The only fight that I lost, I don't really care about it, is the knockout that I got caught. And this is what it is. I was ready. I got caught. I mean, it happened. We're heavyweight. Yeah. But the two fighters that lost by decision, it's still like burned inside. I feel like I could do more. I could push harder.
Especially the Hardy fight. It has to be rough with the injury because you were doing well, and then all of a sudden you could just see it. You weren't moving anymore.
And to be honest, I don't know how I lost that fight 30-27. I thought I won the first round. And they say
30-27 is a little much.
Yeah, I thought I won the first round. I know I didn't do nothing in the second, third because I couldn't move. But he didn't do that much too. So I felt like, and that's the thing. I didn't grapple. I didn't get inside and box more. And right now I have different mentality, man. If I have to lose, I'm gonna lose by knockout. I'm not gonna lose by decision anymore. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna give it all. There's no way I'm losing by decision anymore. I'm taking risk.
So just to move to another former opponent, this is a little bit of a different note, though. Carlos Felipe popped for Boldenone and was suspended for 18 months. He was also suspended for steroids in 2017. You fought this guy, man. Do you think, hey, this guy was on the juice when you guys fought?
Man, I don't know, man. I fought him, but then we kind of become cold. He texts me all the time. He's young too, man. I can't believe he's 26 or 27. I mean, I don't know if he made a mistake or he been doing this, but I hope steroids doesn't give you skills. I mean, I don't know why people even do it.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. I mean, I hope he get his head straight and get back to business, because now it's going to be hard when you take steroid and your legacy is pretty much.
So what do you think of drug use in general in the sport? We know there's so much history with it in MMA, from TRT and just simple stuff like that to PEDs to EPO and stuff like what TJ was caught using. What do you think of drug use in general in MMA?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really care, man. Like I said, I don't believe steroids give you skills. There's no way you tell me that John Jones is the best fighter ever because he do steroids. There's no way. I don't believe that.
I agree with you. I agree with you there.
I think he's the best. He have the best fight IQ. I think he's the best because he doing everything right. I mean, there's no way that so you're gonna pick up a bodybuilding guy that's full of steroid, throw in the cage. You think you're gonna beat any one of that? I don't believe that. Maybe give you a revenge. Maybe you recover faster. Maybe, but I don't think that people can say whatever they want. You're not gonna get a average man in the street to give him steroid and become an old champ. I don't believe so. I wouldn't do it, but I don't think. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm still gonna fight you.
Well, it's. I mean, there's a lot of tangible evidence of guys who pop after losing. You know, they take performance enhancing measures, and it still doesn't work out. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Of course, we're in the clean sport, which everybody should be clean. You agree? You sign a contract to be clean. You gotta be clean. If you're not, you gotta pay the consequence. But I don't believe. Like in the streets, you're not gonna ask someone if he's on steroids. Hey, you on steroids? So I'm not gonna fight you. So I don't think so. So it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah. Changing gears a little bit, Yorgan, I want to talk about some fundamentals. One aspect of your game that I've loved watching you implement over the years is the leg kick. You got some brutal leg kicks. How does Yorgan Decastro throw the perfect leg kick, man?
Oh man, let me tell you something. The old goal for this fight was 5 leg kicks in the first round, and we thought it would be done. My coach said the first 3 minutes, I want you to throw 5 leg kicks, and there's no way this guy gonna take 5 leg kicks. So, but I get overexcited. I throw 1 leg kick. His face changed, and I went for flying knee. That's stupid. I shouldn't do that, but it is what it is.
You don't call him the Mad Titan for no reason.
Right? Yeah.
But perfect leg kick. I like to throw a jab leg kick or a left hook leg kick. Left hook leg kick is brutal. Left hook, right kick, brutal.
Circle away from the left hook, and there you go. You're not walking anymore, buddy.
Exactly, bro. I'm telling you, 2 or 3 of those, done.
Now, of course, talking about the different kinds, we see the traditional Muay Thai, sort of the upper thigh region, but also those calf kicks, man. They've become such popularized in the scene recently. Do you throw, I mean, in terms of diversifying, do you know if you're throwing a calf kick versus leg kick? I mean, or is it just like, I'm going to throw it at that general area and whatever lands?
You know, people like in the gym, I have a lot of guys who like calf kicks. I train with a karate guy, very good. Ross Levine, he throw a lot of calf kicks. He's really good on it. I don't. I really go for the leg. I actually target the area between your legs and your calf, like between right in the knee. it's danger because they can check it. If they check it, I'm gonna hurt. Like Gregory, I kick his knee, but I know for sure if I throw 3 or 4 of those, there's no way, man. You're gonna go home like you're gonna be like in the bed for weeks. So that's always what I do, but it's all effective. I mean, leg kicks is brutal. If you see Edson Barboza do it, it's like my favorite.
Now you've spoken, of course, about the goal, getting back to the UFC, but the goals, right? That was one thing you mentioned in past interviews, is establishing those goals. And now you've spoken today about getting the belt in Eagle FC. What are some other goals that you've created? What are some other new realistic goals, new mountains for Yorgan Decastro to climb? What are you looking forward to? What are you aspiring for?
I want to become that's what, when I first started MMA, my whole goal was be a better fighter, overall a good fighter, like everywhere. I used to watch fights. I want to be like Cain Velasquez. I want to be like, I can strike, I can wrestle, I can grapple, I can do all. Then I start to knock people out. Then boom, there you go. I say I'm
in love with the power.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was my downfall, to be honest with you, because I become lazy. I say I got the power to knock people out, and I don't really care about it anymore. Now that's not the case anymore, man. I'm wrestling, I'm grappling, I'm doing kickbox. I'm adding like boxing classes. I want to get in good shape. Right now I'm a little heavy. I walk around 265, 270, but the goal is probably 245, 250. Great shape, good cardio, and overall better fighter. I believe I can. Like I say, I believe I'm just getting started. I don't care if I was already in UFC. I believe now is the time, and I believe in 2022, 2023, I'll be a different fighter, a complete fighter.
We're with you, and 2022 is full of potential. What does an ideal rest of the year look like for you? When are you getting back in there?
I want to get back in there as soon as I got the call. My manager know that, but I will say May, get one in May, maybe another one in July, and I hope if I keep winning, they throw me in that title contention by end of the year. December will be fighting for that title. That's a realistic goal. I never be so focused in my life. I want that. I'm not fighting just for fight now anymore. I want to be a champion.
Man,
The lean, mean, mad, titan, laser focused. That's what we like to see from Yorgan Decastro. Yorgan, before we let you go, man, where can the people find you in terms of links on social media? Where can we direct them to?
I mean, mine is pretty simple, man. Yorgan Decastro, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just type my name. I'm the only Yorgan Decastro in the planet.
And before you leave, can we please get you to say,
I appreciate you guys. I'm focused. I'm different. I'm telling you guys, different mindset, different goals. Man, people want to ride with me, right? If you don't want, I'm left you. I don't care.
We're here. We're driving the bandwagon, man. Is there any way we can get you to say, hey, this is Yorgan, the Mad Titan Decastro, and you're listening to MMA Uncaged?
Hi, guys. This is Yorgan, the Mad Titan Decastro, and you listen to MMA. What?
MMA Uncaged, my friend. You love to see it.
I can do it again. I can do it again.
Do it again, brother. Uncaged.
There you go. Take two.
What? MMA? Engaged?
Uncaged. UN
On
cage.
the cage?
Yeah, no more cage. No more cage.
No. No. MMA on the cage?
Uncaged.
Uncaged. Oh,
Yeah.
There
MMA.
you go.
There you go.
I got it. Hi, guys. This is Yorgan, the Mad Titan Decastro, and you listen to MMA Uncaged.
Thank you very much to Yorgan, the Mad Titan Decastro. What a presence, man. That guy, he can keep the camera, can he?
Oh, he completely can. It's the smile. It's the complexion. I mean, Yorgan is just such a positive guy. It exudes. It goes right through the lens and into your eyes and your hearts. I mean, that guy's...
He's got a hint of psychopath in him. The Mad Titan's crazy.
Just a little bit, in the sense where in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this guy could legitimately punch me through a wall. Like, you know what I mean? That guy's got the lunch boxes for hand.
All right. We have reached my favorite segment because I am a DJ and gambler. Bane and the Bank. He has been the Bane. I am Jendo the Bank. And this is where we break down our bets this week of fights to come. Bane, I'm excited for this one. I know you like gambling just as much as I do, man. How are you feeling about this, man? You confident? You confident this week?
Nope. I fucking suck at gambling. I'm like the worst person to ask for betting information. My track record is atrocious. But I think I've got some great value for those watching along at home. I've got about 11 bets I'm going to steamroll through. We're going to start at the main event, Jendo. I'm going to take you.
You're not going to pause.
My internet connection okay?
You're not going to pause after saying 11 bets.
No, I've done my due diligence on this week because we're coming back strong, Jenna. We haven't done a Bane's Bank in a moment, and I wanted to bring a lot in the tank for UFC 271. Starting things off, Izzy by KO at plus 165. Look, relative ease to find his timing in their first encounter, and he narrowed in on Rob's chin. In my mind, knocking Whitaker out twice in one fight. So I think that he can definitely do it again. And to have Izzy by KO at plus odds, look, I know he hasn't finished anyone since
the best predictor of the best predictor of the future is the past.
Amen, baby. That's what every world war has said. But at the same time, if you look at it, Rob by decision and here's the big kicker, plus 450 odds. My odds are brought to you by DraftKings. I don't know if you're using FanDuel or MGM or another book, but these are all DK for the Bane. Rob by decision at plus 450. He hasn't finished anyone since April of 2017, which was Jacare Souza. He's gone to the judges' scorecards in every encounter, except for the ones that he has lost. So Rob by decision at plus 450. I think that this is a very solid bet because when you think about it, Rob's game plan should be attrition-based. It should be grappling focused and to sort of grind Izzy into the later rounds. I think that he started far too strong in their first meeting and was winging wild shots and just opened himself up, right? Took too much risk. So maybe playing it a bit slower, playing it a bit more composed. The longer game, Jendo, where Robbie can find some success. So by decision plus 450, you know I'm putting some pennies down onto it. Moving right along, Tai Tuivasa, bam, bam by KO at plus 215. Last three wins have come via finish, stoppage, KO, 2 in the first round. And I think that he's got a great style for it. He pressures. He's very forward focused. And if you look at Derek Lewis, on the other hand, he kind of has a problem with that. The first round of Curtis Blades, I've talked about this so many fucking times. The first round of Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis is great. When you look at how Curtis was having so much success as a wrestler, not even a striker by trade, but he was jabbing the fuck off of Derek Lewis, controlling that round. And I feel like if you put Tai Tuivasa in that same situation with the ammunition that he has, the caliber that he brings, I think 215 is too wide a line for a guy that's got 3 stoppages in his last 3. Now, on the other hand, Lewis to win by KO, minus 125. Most winningest fighter in UFC history by KO at minus 125. Jendo, that's a tight line if I've ever seen one.
I'm going to interject here.
So I think
I wanted to touch on one bet also in the same fight. We talked before recording, right? You like the under 1.5, but how about under a half a round at plus 250 as opposed to 1.5 at minus 190? If we're expecting fireworks early, is there a good enough chance we see him in the first half of the first round and cash at plus 250 odds?
I don't know, 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes is what we're talking about.
The fight not to complete one full round at minus 135 if you don't want to do the under 1.5 at minus 190.
I think that's better value, right? Ending within the first 5 minutes. I think that's a safe bet. You look at Tuivasa again, his last 2 or 2 out of his last 3 wins have come in the first. But a guy like Derek Lewis, I just don't know if you can get him out of there in 1. I think it'll take a bit of a feeling out process, bit of a chess match, do some damage.
Winning round being the second is plus 275.
Right there.
If you're taking
right there, that's where I would put my shekels on.
If you're taking Tuivasa and you want a little bit of a fallback, you just take round 2 as the winning round.
What is I don't know if you got the odds up right now. I don't. But what is not inside the distance? What are we looking at inside the distance on the line between these 265ers?
Continue down your bets, and I'll pull that up right now.
Solid. All right, moving right along to Derek Brunson, Blonde Brunson, to win by KO at plus 700 odds. Plus 700 odds. Look, he TKO'd Edmund, the Golden Boy Shabazian. Half of his wins are KO, TKOs. And look, and this is something that I mentioned to you, Jendo, the ground and pound of Derek Brunson has become significantly more apparent in his last couple fights. I mean, this guy is searching for the finish. And I don't know. I think that if he swarms Cannonier with the wrestling, drags him to the mat, I think he's going to get stunned like he does in every fucking fight. I think that Jared's going to find a chin, but I truly believe.
Oh, sorry, horrible timing.
You're good.
To double back,
awful timing.
minus 550 to be inside the distance and without a victor. If you take Derek Lewis, it's minus 135. If you take Ty, it's plus 210.
Plus 210 inside the distance on Tai Tuivasa. I would say it's a pretty solid bet. But moving the pendulum back to the Brunson and Cannonier fight, I think that plus 700 for TKO and half of his wins are via stoppage, that method. I think that's too wide of a line. And same applies to Brunson by submission at plus 1,400. Look, he just submitted Darren Till, who'd only been submitted once before, which occurred in 2014. And it was a toe hold. I'm not going to pretend to be a BJJ expert. I don't know what the fuck a toe hold really means. I don't know if that's some Kung Fu Panda shit where it's, it's a finger method. I'm not sure. But, if you're submitting a guy who's only been submitted one prior time in his career, plus 1,400 odds, that's way too much in my mind. I probably should have looked at how many times Cannonier's been submitted. I didn't do that. Fuck you. Blonde Brunson
I did my due diligence, he says.
I did some of my due diligence. The Cannonier, I feel like he's tired out a little bit. I feel like he really hasn't shown many things. The last couple fights, he's got power. Boy, does he have power. He wobbled Whitaker with a jab. But I truly believe that Derek Brunson, this incarnation of him, is the best we've seen, and I think it's going to be good enough to get it done against Cannonier. And by decision, plus 250.
If you go over 1.5 total rounds on this fight, if you just take over 1.5, that's minus 200. At 2-1 odds, I may actually lay pretty heavy on Jared Cannonier versus Derek Brunson fight to go over a round and a half. The line that it's sitting at is 2.5, but on DraftKings, Bovada, and some others, you can find the alternate line at 1.5 minus 200. I think it's a fantastic bet.
If you're looking to hedge, I completely agree. I mean, if you want to just say, I'm not going to pick a victor, I'm just going to assume that this is going to extend past 7.5 minutes. I completely agree with you there. Cannonier by KO at plus 120. Cannonier's got the power. He's fought in 3 weight classes. He's gotten finishes, I believe, in 3 weight classes. So to have dog odds on him by stoppage with that method, I think that's a solid bet. If we're talking about hedging, right? We're talking about hedging. That'd be a great one to lay some dineros on. Moving to King Bobby Green by KO at plus 400. I know that since 2013, he's only notched 2 stoppages. Of course, his last one against Iaquinta being one of those. But look, he looks sharp. And at plus 400, I don't know. It was an impressive stoppage. I feel Nasrat's skill isn't near the level of guys like Fiziev. And so I think that if King Bobby Green comes in with an aggressive game plan and Nasrat same comes in, tries to push Bobby Green like Al did, I think we might see a similar stoppage, similar situation. But Bobby Green by plus a decision is at plus 140. In my mind, that's a safer bet, right? He's gone to the judges' scorecards 10 times. He's also knocked out 10 people, but he's got to the judges' scorecards 10 times. Plus 140 seems like a solid one to place the money. Nasrat's a tough guy. I mean, Drew Dober got him out of there. I believe Dan Hooker, did he? No, he got a decision against Nasrat, right? Or did he finish it? I think he got a decision. Yeah, so Nasrat's a tough guy. Hack Perez's got a solid chin. He's mini Gastelum for a reason. So Bobby Green by decision, plus 140. Moving to the best prospect, in my opinion, at women's flyweight, Casey O'Neill. Similarly, King Casey is her nickname, by KO at plus 300.
And add her money line, add her fight line to any parlay. Any parlay you could be in it.
And I love Roxanne Modafferi. Happy Warrior is one of my favorite women's mixed martial artists, but it truly is a situation of she's over the hill and Casey O'Neill's just coming up on that hill. You know what I mean?
Casey O'Neill may be one of the retirement best shot at a champ. She is a real prospect.
3 of her 5 amateur wins were KO. 3 of her last 4 have been KO. Casey's a legit prospect. So her getting this stoppage at plus 300, Come on, Jendo. That's worth a couple Vietnamese don.
Her Vietnamese don. Her recently moving to the States and getting some work in Vegas as well is going to do her very well, because that's going to show us a little bit more added onto her game. I love that, man. But let's switch gears a little bit. What are some picks that you would say, hey, I'm making this. This is my pick tonight. I'll start with the early prelim opener. I love Blood Diamond over Jeremiah Wells at plus 190. Not because of the hype. I didn't like the hype. I don't think Blood Diamond has much title aspirations in the future in the UFC, but I do think he can have some fun fights. In watching the tape on Jeremiah Wells, he will blitz and he will leave his chin directly in the air. You can't leave your chin in the air against a world-class striker like Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond at plus 190 fight line. Got to look into the finish odds. But Bane, what is one pick that you will be taking yourself as I got to gather those odds?
If I were gonna lock something in and say this is the one that you need to do, I gotta say, orange being the color of Gatorade poured on the winning head coach of the Super Bowl. I think it's gonna be orange. Plus 300 odds on orange.
Blood Diamond. Wait a minute. Blood Diamond goes from plus 190 to plus 300 by KO. That's my bet.
I would agree with that. I think that's going to be a fantastic bout. Blood Diamond should get the finish there just by name alone. I mean, come on. What nicknames are better than that? Blood Diamond. Wasn't that a Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
It was. It was a fantastic one too. Oh my goodness, was it a fantastic movie?
I've never seen it.
But another play I've got, Derek Brunson over Jared Cannonier. You got to watch that movie tonight, by the way. Derek Brunson over Jared Cannonier at plus 140. I'm going to take the fight line because although I think he takes a decision, I do see the pathway to a finish. I think he can get him down, get the ground and pound, and get a TKO. I think he can get him down, get the ground and pound, and put him out. I also think there's always a chance with someone like Derek Brunson, if he is implementing a grapple-heavy game plan, he could get a submission as well with a simple rear naked choke, something like that. But I'll just take Brunson here on the fight line at plus 140 and enjoy what could be a title eliminator and one of the last times we'll ever get to see Derek Brunson in the octagon.
I would say, I think that's stupid, by the way. We can discuss that later, but I think it's so stupid for him to say this
bad
fight
timing.
week. I've only got 2 fights left. It's bad timing completely. I would say, if I were going to lock something in, aforementioned Casey O'Neill by KO, TKO, at plus 300, that's far too wide of a line for, again, like I mentioned, the best prospect really that's at that weight class right now against Roxanne Modafferi, who's had mixed results her last several outings. She's upset some prospects. She has, and she's as durable as they come, but King Casey, I think, is going to extend the undefeated streak. I will say, moving on, past from single picks, I want to get into some parlays with you, Jendo, because I've got the dumbest ones on tap.
I'm looking at a fun
4-pick parlay.
Go ahead.
I said this to you before, the 4-pick parlay, $10 I'm wagering. A lot of people use units in the betting community. I think that's fucking stupid and pretentious, and I can understand why you do it. It's a way of tracking. Everybody's unit is different. I'm putting one unit in.
No, not even that. I don't give a shit about that. I'll give you my dollar
because
amount.
when you define my unit's $10, your unit's $25. It's all the same. Fuck you. Dude.
Yeah, I'll give you my dollar amounts. I don't care. For me, it's a way of tracking if I'm profitable or negative. That's what it is for me.
I don't give
and then
shit.
There's also the drunk $400 on the Milwaukee Bucks money line bet I made last night.
Did they win?
Yep.
Which were they up plus something or?
I took the money line just to be safe, and then they won by like 30. So
there you go. But the parlay, 4 picks: William Knight by KO, TKO, disqualification, Casey O'Neill notching the stoppage, Derek Brunson to win by KO, and Bobby Green to win by decision. So that's at plus 30,000 odds.
Those sharps are coming in on Casey O'Neill. She's moved from minus 390 to minus 425.
Yeah, so if you want to bet quick on King Casey. But look, I put up 10. I'll get $3,000 if that lands. And honestly, I could see all of those happening. You know what I mean? Sometimes I make dumb parlays, Jendo, and I'm like, this shit's never going to land. It's purely stupid. But I really could see a realm where every single one of those results occurs. So
you want to know a parlay that I think might actually take place? You take Casey O'Neal's fight line just to win, regardless of how. Derek Brunson's fight line win, regardless of how. And Blood Diamond to win via KO TKO, which is literally just every pick that I've been raving about. It's at plus 1,081. Put $10 in there, win $100.
I'm gonna put my life savings on that, Jendo, and if I lose, I'm gonna fucking sue you.
And then I'm gonna delete my Twitter, my YouTube account. It's been nice knowing you, my friend.
I'll never see you again. That's I think that's the best. I've got a shit ton of more random ass small bets. As you know me, I just make
rapid
$2
fire,
bets
throw
here,
them at us.
$1 there. Let's see. God, they're all the ones that I talked about. 4-pick parlay: Tai Tuivasa, Robert Whitaker, Derek Brunson, Alexander Hernandez. Round robin: Jeremiah Wells, Carlos Olberg, Alexander Hernandez, Ronnie Lawrence, Alex Perez, Casey O'Neill, Bobby Green, Kyler Phillips. 8-pick parlay: Jeremiah Wells, Carlos Olberg, Alexander Hernandez, Ronnie Lawrence, Alex Perez, Casey O'Neill, Bobby Green, and Kyler Phillips. So if Casey O'Neill loses or like Bobby Green, most of my shit's fucked.
Yeah, I think you're a lot safer in Casey O'Neill, but I consider taking Nasrat. So I have a feeling Bobby Green and you may be needing some words this weekend.
I hedge every bet. I pick every fucking result, so I always win, Jendo. That's my philosophy when it comes to betting.
I don't think that's how that works.
That's exactly how it works. I can't lose. I'm always winning.
I think that means
how does Bane have a 50% rate when he bets? He bets everything.
I mean, hey, I win every bet by betting each fighter until it's a draw.
Until it's a draw, and then you are shit out of luck, my friend.
Man, but that should do it for this week's edition of Bane in the Bank. Expect us to be back with some maybe good, maybe bad picks. We'll see what's going on. It looks like 2022 is not too bad of a year so far for me. Bane, hey, maybe he's hitting on a 50% rate, taking everything, but you tail him, something tells me you won't like your return too much. Hey, thanks for joining us.
You'll be broke.
Yeah, you'll be broke. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for sticking along to this point. Man, I'm excited to get our next guest in here. One of the guys who got me wanting to start my own little venture here, John Hyon Ko of South China Morning Post, formerly, Kumite TV, formerly, or currently, I'm not sure, and the AllStar. Make sure you find him at JHK MMA. So excited to have John in the house for us next. Now joining us, one of the men that actually inspired me to get into this whole MMA media thing, John Hyon Ko. I remember seeing you on a South China Morning Post video, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give my all at this thing. How's it going, man? We're honored to have you on.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm inspiring anybody to do anything, but I appreciate the nice words. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. Life is good. You know, things are moving forward. People are living with the pandemic. That's all we can ask for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to ask, man, you've recently got into bed a little bit with the AllStar. Let us know how that came to be. Let us know about a little bit of what the plan is moving forward. We've already seen Dan Hooker on there. We've seen various interviews, hiring writers. You're hiring a lot of people, man. There's some fun stuff going on over there. Let us know what's going on.
I don't know if I'm in bed with them, but that's going a little too far. Maybe
it's a weird phrasing.
Maybe I'm in bed's bed. I'll be in bed's bed.
There you go. It's right back there, John. It's over there.
I'm just the wingman. I'm the wingman of the show.
All right. Well, just working, man. Just working and just continuing to do interviews and writing here and there and just being active and continuing to try to be better, I guess, and not quitting. I think that's the main thing, is not quitting, because I've quit a few times throughout the years and people have kind of dragged me out of that and made me continue and just working for whoever can work for, man, and getting opportunities. And that's what the AllStar was. It was just an opportunity. They came to me and we came into an agreement, and now I'm working with them exclusively. And I think like that is just an example of work, man, just hard work and continuing to get better. And I don't know if I'm getting that much better, but I am getting better, because sometimes I watch my interviews from like 3 years ago and I was dog shit, and I hate watching it.
I love honesty, man. I love honesty.
But it is. Yeah, go ahead, man.
What'd you do before MMA coverage? Did you study journalism or communications, or was this just like a passion that turned into a full-time thing?
Nothing, man. I didn't do no journalism.
He watched Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, I watched Enter the Dragon and Bloodsport. yeah, and
you're like, fuck, I gotta get in this, man.
Yeah, I was
Sprinkle in a little Dragon Ball Z.
I had two of those plastic nunchucks that that don't hurt if you hit your head and your nuts with, and then I was just like looking in the mirror, like, dude, you gotta do it, you gotta get on here. But no, it's just I've been watching the sport for a while, you know what I mean, and just like I just Googled like, is there anybody covering the sport in Asia? Because I'm in South Korea. I don't know if people know that, but like I'm not even in the States. A lot of people think I'm in America.
You have no accent. Did you develop that always in South Korea? I don't know if you lived in the States or not, but
he's the most American South Korean there is.
It's just episodes and episodes of Friends, and that's how it happened. You know what I mean? That's just the story right there. But no, I grew up in the States, like when I was like a teenager, elementary school and all that. But yeah, I'm in South Korea, so like I was just looking through Asia. Is there a website? There was a website, asianmma.com. I just reached out to them and they just got me started, man, covering shows, writing stuff, and then it all morphed into me just doing video interviews, because you got to find what you're good at, man. Like you can't just do everything, or you can't just think like I have to do it this way. You got to look at it, in a broader perspective, and I thought like, man, it'd just be better for me to just do video, even though I still do writing and I don't cover events anymore at all. But I still do but I started there. I started it like doing play-by-play stuff, writing, and even though you might not like it at first, you got to go through that. You got to go through that and try everything, because you never know what you're going to be good at. And I thought like I'm pretty decent at just like talking with people. And I just continued doing it and took opportunities, and this is where I am.
There's definitely highs and lows in the media aspect of covering MMA, because anybody who plans on coming into MMA and, hey, I'm going to interview Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier week 1, and I'm going to be making a living doing this within 6 to 12 months. That's not realistic.
Hope to God nobody fucking thinks. Who the fuck thinks that? Who thinks?
Everybody.
You'd be surprised. You have no idea how many people have approached me even trying to get involved with this little
McGregor and Poirier week 1, my ass, dude. No.
Well, something I could say, like advice to people that are starting out, if you have a journalism background, if you don't have it, but build something that's yours too at the same time. Even if you're working for, let's say, I would suggest a couple spots that you could probably work for from the start, like MMA Sucker, Jeremy over there. He does a great job. He's been around forever, man. He knows the ins and outs. I worked for a little bit with them. I work for My MMA News. Eric over there, he's great, man. He's one of the solid dudes out there in the media game.
I can even add some websites. Tarps Off is always looking. Overtime
exactly
Heroics is looking. Combat Sports UK is looking, if anyone's interested in that.
But you should have something of your own too at the same time, man. If it's a YouTube page, a YouTube channel, whatever, man, just have something of your own that you could kind of like fall back on. Let's say work doesn't come at you, as at a rapid rate, then you have something you could put your stuff on, that's yours. Then when somebody comes and wants something from you, you could just show them what you have accumulated and have examples of your work. I mean, I think that's so important. Even, a job, it's like a resume. Job.
It's a resume.
Yeah, it's a resume. A job is like any job. You never know when it can go south, right? You never know when it can tank. You never know when something will come up and you can't do that, that certain position. Maybe you have a good part-time job with this company, but that company, don't need you anymore, or they don't need that aspect, or they found somebody better. You know what I mean? That just doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that you don't fit there anymore. And then you got to have something to, fall back on, which is your own stuff, right? So like, that's why I created my own YouTube page, YouTube channel. And, I think I have almost 4,000 subscribers on that, and I think and that's a resume too. Like you said, man, that's showing people like you can kind of bring people to your content. And,
talking about your own stuff, JHK, we spoke about this documentary that you're thinking about doing 6 months, going to be going deep into sort of
Bane.
What's up?
Get in there with Bane.
Oh, to fight? Oh no, dude, John would fucking kill me.
That's the goal.
I don't think that's the case. But
how tall are you? What's your height?
I'm 5'11".
I'm like 5'8". There's no chance, bro. I'm getting clean.
All right. So, well, I don't think I would want to, like, if I was gonna fight somebody, I don't think I'd want to fight another person in the media. I just think that's kind of lame, to be honest with you.
Oh, I hate you so much. I just announced today I'm doing an amateur at the end of the year against another dude who does it.
Come on, man. Pick somebody that's like, it's like fighting your family.
So the goal is he's going to be training with some high-level amateur dudes out in Idaho. I'm going to be training at American Top Team Portland. I hope he comes ready because I'm coming to slaughter him. I mean, it could be like, I guess I'm killing my brother that night, but that's the goal, man. That's the goal. It was easier to find him than to try and organize and find something out here locally. It would have been a little bit tougher to come without an opponent ready. So Oregon.
That's such an easy decision for you, Jendo. Why is it such an easy decision to be? I'm going to slaughter him. I'm going to fucking murder him.
Well, it's not an easy decision, right? But the way I see it, I'm doing it to get the experience, to be able to document it, right? And to have it. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going full force just because I know the guy I'm doing it with. I mean, I want to be able to say, hey, even if he sleeps me, I tried my hardest. I went out and tried. Even if we look horrible, I don't care. I don't care. It's all about going out there doing it. And hey, maybe it turns into something more too. Also, being at American Top Team Portland is going to be pretty cool because there's some high-level guys out there, and hopefully I get to rub shoulders with some of them.
Yeah. Well, don't rub their shoulders too much. But,
well, you're getting into bed with the AllStar.
Yeah, don't rub them too hard.
Well, I guess there's not much difference in that, right? No, the project, I'm still putting it together, but like I'm really gonna do it in detail. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be something that is not just like, oh, I'm training with these guys and then all of a sudden I'm gonna take off. No, I'm doing it with the intention of like documenting everything and showing you exactly what a fighter would go through with the real fight team, like like Jendo would, but like the coaches meetings, like it just like the emotions of like going through training camp, like getting beat up every day, recording everything, putting it all out there for everybody to see. It's just going to be all revealing. And if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So I'm in the process of getting everything right. Even like the weight cut, you know what I mean? Like the weight cut, I'm going to do the weight cut too. You know what I mean? Like with the professional.
You got to do it all. Yeah. I mean, you got to do it 100% if you're going to do it.
Yeah, because you want to feel every single emotion. Yeah.
Yeah. How much weight you cutting? What division you fighting at?
Ideally, I'll fight at featherweight.
Okay.
Ideally,
what do you weigh right now?
I weigh probably like around like 185 right now.
That's like what they cut, right? That's like typically what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like what they typically saw. Like diet down and then train.
What would you try to get down to before the weight cut? Because you wouldn't go 85 to 45. What would your walking weight goal be?
No, I would probably go down to like, I don't know. I would talk to the professional that I have, right? That's going to be working with me to get me down. It's going to be all scientific, right? It's going to work through that whole process of somebody getting my weight down and I got to follow it. And, then I got to follow it. So that has to be documented. Will I cheat? Will I go sneak off?
John Bray
ribs
can get some Doritos or get some donuts. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Am I gonna follow the diet? And I already started a diet right here. I got like this meal plan thing that I'm following right now, and just trying to get my weight down to a certain point before I head over to Thailand, which is at the end of March.
Do you know where you're gonna be training?
Yeah, I'll be training at Bang Tao Muay Thai and MMA.
Nice. Who are some of the guys and coaches out there at that gym?
The coaches are the Hickman brothers. George Hickman, who was the head coach at Tiger Muay Thai. Now has his own gym. And his brother, Frank Hickman. If you don't know who Frank Hickman is, go watch Embedded and you'll see him wrestling Israel Adesanya during this fight week. Like he's really a big part of City Kickboxing. He'll be over there. And Alex Shield is the jiu-jitsu coach. You got Woody. Woody was on the Ultimate Fighter. He was a strength and conditioning coach for Alex Volkanovski. And Frank Hickman was also part of Alex Volkanovski's coaching squad for the Ultimate Fighter. I think those are kind of like the main coaches. And then I'll most likely be having the fight dietitian, who is actually Israel Adesanya's dietitian, helping me with the diet. And so I got like, and you know what? These are all people that I have known for years. Like these are people that
Mhm.
I've known before. They're
Relationships
like
built
been
from
on
the
the
ground
UFC arena, like, you know, like before they become these bigger names. You know, they're always names, but they weren't like these bigger names that are more known. I've always known those people. Like that's another important aspect of covering the sport too, is building the relationships with people like from the ground up. Like Dan Hooker, you know what I mean? Like I've probably been like interviewing Dan Hooker since like 2015. So like we've known each other. Like I'm not buddies with him, but we've known each other at a professional
Mhm.
level for a long time and have that mutual respect. So like that's why the show that we have makes sense. You know what I mean? Like he knows the sport better than anybody, right? He's a top level fighter right now. It's not like he's retired or anything like that. He's in the grind right now. He's preparing for a fight right now for, you know, Arnold Allen, which is an interesting aspect too. But yeah, huge like squad, I guess, for this, and I want them to be 100% truthful to me, and you know, and to the cameras and stuff. I don't want them to like be all nice and be all sweet salad.
Sugarcoat or
I don't want that. I want the real deal. I want them to be like, this dude is trash. Like, why is he not getting better? Like, what's wrong with it?
Could you imagine? It's just every time they talk to the coaches, it's like, John fucking sucks. I don't know what he's doing here. That would be terrible.
No, that would be great though.
Oh
that
God.
would be real. That would be realistic. You know what I mean? Like if they would just be like, yeah, he's getting better, and then I'm just getting trashed by like 125 women.
Just getting ragged off. Like
I'm getting tossed,
suplexed.
I'm getting like twisted by like, you know, high school kids, and I'm just like, you know, like you can't say that, you know? Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild experience, man. I think it's gonna be something that's unique. I think that because it's gonna be documented too, you know what I mean? Like I've had offers to fight in the past, like other people with no training. They're just like, just come and fight, man. You want to feel the fight? Just come and fight. I'm like, no, I want to, like, if I'm gonna do it and sacrifice like brain cells and, you know, like I want to do it right. So this is the way to do it properly. And yeah, man. So I'm excited, but I'm also scared to fucking death.
I like how you specified that in the past they've offered to fight other people as opposed to fucking like a water buffalo. John, we got a giraffe, dude. Kick it! Like
there's a goat. He's talking shit.
Nah, he's fighting a broomstick. John Janko versus a broomstick, 5 rounds.
Dude, I don't know if I got John in that one, bro. I think
there's an olive jar.
Takes him out.
There's an olive jar. There's a you know, there's a little pig in the barn.
Man, it's been a blast having you on. I know you said you have 20 minutes or so, and hopefully we got you in here and out of here quickly enough. Make sure you guys follow John Hyon Co. at JHKMMA on Twitter. Not sure if you're on Instagram. Make sure to plug that. YouTube, everything. Go ahead and let the fans know where to find you, man.
JHKMMA, man.
Everywhere.
And go to AllStar Sport, the AllStar MMA. Go watch the show this weekend, man. The show with Dan Hooker. Because why? 3 of his teammates are fighting on the pay-per-view, and you'll get to see a raw, instant reaction from Dan Hooker. You know what I mean? Win or lose, he's going to be there to talk about the fights, which is like, to me, it's like brave. Because I've sat in a room where like a UFC fighter was fighting and his team was in the room at the house watching the fights, and then that fighter got knocked out in the first round. Dude, the air just gets sucked out so fast. Like nobody wants to like talk. It's just like, it's crazy.
Wow.
So to get an instant reaction from someone like Dan is going to be interesting. So JHK MMA, go to the AllStar MMA or the AllStar YouTube channel. Go subscribe to that and you won't miss anything. Bane, it's good to be speaking with you, man.
Dude,
Janko, appreciate
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Talk about a guy right there who's just paving his own way in the mixed martial arts world. Coverage comes consistently. Nobody does it better than JHK. Make sure you go follow him once again. Truly, so proud of that guy. I mean, he's developed in immense ways, and now he's got the show with Hooker and that documentary like we touched on. Dude, 2022 is going to be a big year for John Hyon Co. But ladies and gents, that comes to the end of our episode, I believe. Or does it?
You know, I feel the best way to end this would actually be There is a local legend from where I'm from right now, little struggling. Chris the Crippler Lieben came down with some issues after COVID, got put on a ventilator, was having some real medical issues. It wasn't looking good for quite some time, but Dr. Octagon, everybody who's on MMA Twitter knows who Dr. Octagon is, has done a great job of keeping everyone informed. Chris Lieben has posted himself. He is awake, and it looks like, hey, the Crippler may live to fight another day, which is awesome, because you never want to see a legend of the game go, and you never want to see a childhood hero go, especially considering I was lucky enough to talk to Chris Lieben for the first time ever just about a week ago. So all of that hidden was a little rough, man. Really happy to see him getting better, and I think we got to at least give that a mention, man.
We have to. I mean, Chris over COVID, baby, you can't take out the Crippler. That guy is as durable as they come and affable as they come. Such a positive influence. That almost contradicts, right? The tattoos and the appearance. He's such a positive and nice guy. And again, huge shouts to Dr. Octagon for keeping us informed. That was a really scary situation. But hey, full recovery, I think, is what we're looking at. So I can't wait to see Chris Lieben get back out there and get back on the horse of working out with Dr. Octagon and posting more frequently and feeling better.
And man, who knows? We're having some conversations. Who knows? Maybe we see Chris Lieben on here in the future. Would love to do it. Would be an honor, man. He's a fantastic person. Again, anything you may have seen on The Ultimate Fighter Season 1, a lot of people only form their opinion on the man off of a season of TV he did when he was a kid. I mean, come on now. Let's go back and record 4 months, a 4-month span in a house with 9 other aspiring pro fighters. When say we were younger, and let's see how that goes. You can't judge a book by its cover. Chris Lieben looks like he's going to be finishing COVID off soon enough. Should be back with us. But we thank you, and I thank you, Bane, for joining me again. Always exciting to be in the booth with you. Always exciting to get these done, man. And realistically, it's just going to get bigger and better from here. Next week, we'll be coming at you guys weekly. No more of this hiatus stuff. Bane's been trying to get some jobs, man. I have been too. Some heartbreaks at the end of 21, early 22. TOFC. That was
one of these days I have to win, right, Jendo? One of these fucking days, something's gonna work out. Right? I don't know what it is, but
I got a hint of the Bane pain, and that's what I'm gonna call it, the Bane pain, because I thought I had the Fight Disciples gig in the job, had references from Patty, Jack Shore, every fighter in the book, Tyson Chartier off of Calvin Cater's win, everybody, and just missed out. Similar to the Bane with the Nelk boys, but I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. Like the way that I look at it is, you know, you have to adjust the way that you look at why you do things. I don't do shit for anybody else. I don't post on MMA Twitter for anyone else. It's not for jobs. It's like when these opportunities come around, I'll apply, I'll toss my hat in, but rejection, it kind of flies off the shoulders because it's not like the things that I'm creating are for those positions. It's not like everything I'm doing is to get in those spots. It'd be great if it happens, but my compass is not purely to be in those positions. So it's easier to accept and move on and move forward and not really, not really linger on it. Yeah, it happened. Hey, I mean, it was a cool opportunity. I spoke to Kyle. He seemed like a nice guy. I top 3 in the world ain't bad. And, you know, anytime that I have one of these opportunities where I broadcasted online, it truly is humbling and amazing to see the amount of support and the amount of people that come out and like, retweet, vote, whatever it is. I mean, it's this community is incredible, and I'm always thankful and very appreciative. And hopefully when I do get my chance and I do break through and hopefully I stick the landing, then we can all celebrate and I'll buy a round for everyone. That's
stick
legal.
The landing or face plant. As long as you get there, man, we've done our job. Yeah. But as always, we'll always have you here. And man, I hope everybody watching at home really enjoyed this week's episode. Yorgan Decastro, John Hyon Ko, and Ray Longo were all spectacular. John, man, I could talk to that guy for hours. Yorgan looks like he seems like a comedian, and Ray Longo, it seems like the type of guy you could shoot the shit with at the poker table, man. Thank you to everyone who joined, and especially all you guys that watched, man. Make sure you follow Bane at, I think it's Ben the Bane Davis now on Twitter. Us at Uncaged Media. Subscribe to the channel. Drop the comments. We've got a lot of stuff coming, man. This is just the first of the revival of this partnership, considering we got a lot of videos coming. We got scripts being worked on. We got script writers coming out. An exciting time, man. 2022 should be fun. I'm Jendo. Bane right here. I aim below, but he's going to be side to side on the actual video. So that's going to get edited out a little bit. But thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you guys on the next one.